Welcome back to geometry. We are at chapter 1, section 5. It is over some angle relationships. As always, we're going to do some vocab. I know vocab's not the most exciting thing, but it is really important. So first off, our first vocab is adjacent angles. So adjacent angles are two angles that lie in the same plane and have a common vertex and a common side, but no common interior points. But no common interior points. So then our next one is a linear pair. So a linear pair is a pair of adjacent angles are defined above, a pair of adjacent angles with non-common sides. That are opposite rays. I want to make a note here that opposite rays, think about if an opposite ray, I have one ray here and another ray going over here. These are opposite rays. So another term for this is a straight line. Hopefully that makes sense to you guys. Our next angle relationship is a vertical angles. Vertical angles. So vertical angles are two non-adjacent angles. Two non-adjacent angles formed by intersecting lines. Okay, so two non-adjacent angles formed by intersecting lines. Something to note about vertical angles. Vertical angles are congruent. Do you remember what congruent means? Congruent, we defined this in another chapter. Congruent means that they have the same measure, measure. Okay, so that's really important to note. Also, another important thing to note, we'll get to what supplementary means, but a linear pair, the angles are supplementary. Supplementary. Okay, now might be a good time to pause the video to get all these notes down. I'm going to erase them. I'll give you a couple seconds to get these notes down, and then I'm going to erase it. Okay, so take notes on more terms. Complementary angles. Okay, complementary angles are two angles with a measure that have a sum of 90 degrees. So the measure of two angles adds up to 90 degrees. Perfect. Now the opposite of complementary is supplementary. So supplementary angles are two angles with measures that have a sum of one angle. Of 180, I mean. The measure of two angles adds up to 180 degrees. Someone in one of my earlier classes said an easy way to remember this is C for corner, which is 90 degrees, and C for complementary. And for S, for supplementary, they said S is for straight. And S is for supplementary. Okay, now that we have all of our, we have one more term left to do, and then we will start going into some pictures of these so you can kind of visualize them better. But first we need to define perpendicular. Perpendicular. Okay, so when two lines, rays, or line segments are perpendicular, they form right angles. So, when lines, segments, or rays form right angles. Remember, right angles are 90 degrees. And the symbol for perpendicular, just so you know, is a straight up line and then a line like this. So that's the symbol for perpendicular, and it's read perpendicular to. Perpendicular to. Okay. Some other notes about perpendicular lines. When perpendicular lines, they intersect to form four right angles. Think about when two roads intersect, you get like four different corner lots. That's the same idea. When they intersect, they form four right angles, which also means that they are congruent adjacent angles. And then when you see the right angle symbol, so if I have a line here and a line here, and you see this little symbol, which is a right angle symbol, it's a little square. That means that these two lines are perpendicular to each other. Okay, I'm going to do some examples, so I'm going to erase this. Now might be another good time to pause the video if you don't have all of this down. So I'll let you pause it right now. Okay, I'm going to erase it. And we're going to talk about, give some examples of these different angles that I just talked about. Okay, so I'm going to use a different color now, just so you guys can see it a little better. You see the difference between the terms and the examples. So I'm going to first give you an example of adjacent angles. Adjacent angles. This is the first one that we talked about. Adjacent angles, remember that they have a similar vertex and one similar side and no similar interior points. So if I have a line here, and so that forms an angle at vertex A, then I put another line here, and I get angle 1 and angle 2. Angle 1's there, angle 2's there. Angle 1, and angle 2 are adjacent angles. Why, you might ask? Let's go through our checklist. Do they share a vertex? Share vertex. Yup, we have vertex A, so yes, that's check. Do they share a line? Vertex A. Do they share a ray or line? Line slash side? Check, because we have this. If I put a B up here, it would be line BA. Okay? And then does it have any similar interior points? Similar interior points. No, it doesn't, so we are good there. None. Awesome. So do you kind of get that, how we can go through this checklist? So they are adjacent angles, angle 1 and 2 here. Now if I drew another picture here, let's draw another picture. And we're going to call this 1, and we're going to call this 2, and this is going to be vertex A, point B, C, and D up there. So we're going to go through the same checklist. Do they share a vertex? Vertex? Yes, they do. They share a vertex A. Do they share a line or a side? Yes, they share a line AC. Okay, now do they share any similar interior points? So if I put a point interior here, does it share it over here? No. Interior points, none. So are these adjacent? Yes, they are. Perfect. So now we have 2 examples of adjacent. If you want to write these down, I would highly suggest it. I'm going to erase these before I start on to our next linear pair. Okay? Okay, so our next one is linear pair. This is the second one we did, linear pair. Okay, remember that they have to have opposite rays and be adjacent angles. So the first one I'm going to draw. I have angle 1 is a small one right here, and angle 2 is that one over there. We're going to name our vertex A. We're going to name this B, up here C, and over here D. So we want to see if this is a linear pair. Question mark? Let's go through our checklist. What are the checklists for a linear pair? Opposite rays. For the non-common side, so the opposite rays, we have AB and AD. A, B, and AD. So that's a check. We do have opposite rays. Woohoo! So then do we have a common side? Common side. It needs to be adjacent, so we have to have a common side. Guess what? AC is a common side, so AC. So that is a check. Do we share any interior points? Interior points. Remember that was on the adjacent. No, we don't, which is good. We don't want to share any interior points, so that's good. Do we have a common vertex? Common vertex. Yes, we share a common vertex, A. So, is this a linear pair that has opposite rays that are on the non-common side? Yes, so this is a linear pair. Okay, I'm going to draw another picture up here. What if I had a picture? This is a straight line, and I have an angle going this way, and an angle coming down this way. And I'm going to name this one 1, and this one 2, A, B, C, D. So, is angle 1 and angle 2 a linear pair? That's our question. Let's go through our checklist. Are the non-common sides opposite rays? So does it have an opposite ray? Yes, it does. We see it here and there. Opposite rays. That's a check. Does it have a common side? Okay, where's our common side? This is a big old no. So guess what? With this one no, we now know the answer up here. It is not a linear pair, so this is a no. They are not, because they don't have that common side, which is necessary for it to be adjacent. Okay, we're going to do 2 more examples. If you need to write it down, I'll leave it up here, and you guys can pause the video right now. Okay, I'm going to erase it. Okay, so our next one is supplementary and complementary angles. So we'll do complementary first. That says complementary angles. Remember, C is for corner, C is for complementary. Let's say I have an angle here. I have an angle here, angle 3, and I have another angle here, angle 4. And the measure of angle 3 equals 30 degrees, and the measure of angle 4 equals 60 degrees. When we are going through complementary angles, our checklist is, does the measure of angle 1 plus the measure of angle 2 equal 90? That is what we're wondering. If this is true, it is a complementary angle. So let's do the measure of angle 1, which is measure of angle 3, plus a measure of angle 4. That should be angle 4. Does this equal 90? So we get 30 plus 60. Does this equal 90? 90 equals 90. That is good. So these are complementary. Yes, they are complementary. Yes. What if I have an angle with the measure, what if I change the measure of angle 3? So the measure of angle 3 is now 25, and the measure of angle 4 is now 55. So let's see, the measure of angle 3, the measure of our first angle, plus the measure of angle 4 equals 90 is what we're hoping for. Our measure of angle 3 is 25 plus 55, which is the measure of angle 4, equals 90. Is this a true statement? Let's add it up. That's 10, and that's 7, so we get 80 on this side equals 90. That is not a true statement, so this is a no. These are not complementary. because 80 does not equal 90. Okay, we're going to do one last one. We are going to do supplementary. So I'm going to erase these again. Okay, remember what supplementary means. Supplementary means straight. S is for straight. Supplementary. Supplementary angles. So we want the measure of the first angle plus the measure of the second angle to equal 180 degrees, which is a straight line. So a couple examples. If I have, this picture will probably look familiar. I did it before. 1, an angle 2 here, vertex A. And the measure of angle 1 is equal to 60 degrees. And the measure of angle 2 is equal to 120 degrees. So let's do the math. The measure of angle 1 plus the measure of angle 2. Does it equal 180 degrees? That's our hope. Measure of angle 1 is 60 plus 120 equals 180. Is this a true statement? Let's do the math. 6 plus 2, 8, 1, 8, 0 equals 1, 8, 0. True statement. So are these complementary? Or supplementary, I mean, sorry, supplementary. Yes. Okay. Do you guys have any questions over this? Feel free to ask me. I'm in my room. You guys have my office hours, so feel free to come in anytime. Otherwise, we can Google Hangout if you ever need any more help. I will answer any questions, okay? Look forward to seeing you in the next video.